Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sonny Go. Analysis is my business, and I come before you today as a commentator of Manila Wrestling Federation. This is a vlog that goes into my process of commentating for a pro wrestling show. We're going to look into what I do for Manila Wrestling Federation, how I prepare for pro wrestling commentary, how I help out with production, what I do after shows, and everything else in between, and as well as what really goes into commentary in general. First of all, I would like to say that this video is about pro wrestling commentary from my point of view, from my perspective. I consider myself a pro, although I'm not really a full pro. I do this like once a month, and I'm sure there are people out there going, "Oh, who the hell does this guy think he is? Mauro Ranallo? Huh? Michael Cole?" However, with that said, if you're gonna get into something, you gotta apply yourself 100%. I do believe that, and I hope that this video can be helpful to anyone who wants to do this, wants to get good at talking very loudly at a somewhat official capacity. If you want to do something like this, you gotta be a real weirdo like me. So let's get into it. The first part and the most important part is preparation. Now, I'm sure there are a lot of really talented commentators out there who can just wing it. They just show up and just wing it. I'm not one of those people. I had to work hard in order to actually be somewhat presentable on microphone. I'm not really gifted. I worked to be competent at this, and I'm still working at it. And preparing notes is very important for me. Not because I need the notes while I'm doing commentary. I actually barely look at the notes. I would just turn on my phone, put on the notes, and it just sits there. And if I need to look at it, I will every now and then, but I don't really need it. The point of preparing notes is writing notes down in the first place. Writing things down helps imprint details into your head and lets you consolidate them. I have the option to review my notes before the show, review whatever the moves are for each wrestler, refresher, but most of the time I don't really do that. The importance of the notes is in writing things down in the first place. When I started doing this, I had to deal with a lot of my inadequacies. I'm not very good at thinking on my feet. I'm not very good at improvisation. I'm very socially awkward. And I do have a pretty okay voice. I do have good diction. But aside from that, talking actually wasn't my strong suit. So I had to come up with ways for me to be able to capitalize on my strengths while working on my weaknesses. And so I developed kind of like a personal system for doing commentary. It's based on a mental checklist which comes from my days as a semi-serious StarCraft 2 player. I came up with what I call the 4 S's: situation, strategy, story, spice. I wrote a blog post about this on avoider.net, my website. It goes into what would become my personal system. Read that if you want to get more into my thought process. Anyway, the 4 S's: situation. It's basically play by play. What's happening right now? What's happening right in front of you? Then there's strategy. What you think each competitor has to do in order to win. The mid term of things, like this guy is a grappler, he has to close the distance, and while his opponent is a striker, he has to maintain distance and hit him with strikes, combinations, stuff like that. Then there's the story, how they got there in the first place and what they are fighting for. This is very important in pro wrestling. If there is no story going into a match, why do it in the first place? Why would people watch? Talking about the story allows you to fill gaps so that the audience is reminded why they're watching this match in the first place. And of course, spice. What is spice? Trivia, interesting facts, tangents, jokes. This is actually easier if you're a heel commentator. You can just make fun of the competitors without burying them, of course. That's, up to your discretion. But yeah, you just cycle through the 4 of them. You talk about the situation, what's happening. You're starting to stumble on your words. You then go to the next S, strategy. You talk about the strategy, and then talk about the story, and then talk about the spice, and then talk again about what's going on, and then you just cycle through. Of course, I don't really do this like strictly, but it helps to have the habit of having that mental checklist. That's the way I do it. I don't know about you. You may have your own system, and the important thing is you take note of what you're good at and what you're struggling at, and take it step by step and see what you can improve on and what may need a little bit more practice. I'll show you how I do my notes. Now, here's my template. As you can see, episode, and then there's segments in between, and then match. There's notes for every match, right? Aside from having a template, I also have the stats for the roster, the different wrestlers. All right, let's say the main event of MWF Republica 2023, Fabio Makisig versus Nigel San Jose. So I copy paste their information here. Back in 2022, when I was also ring announcing every match, so I was actually doing double duty. I had a microphone here for announcing, and I had my microphone over here for commentary. I would just have my phone out here, and it'll have my details. And so I get to announce it, the stats are right there. I could also mention it in commentary, it's something that I can talk about. And then, of course, the moves, just in case, I forgot something. It's nice to have it there. And here we go. I just put in the story leading up to the match. And there, what I think is the strategy for Nigel San Jose. And I got spice for each of the competitors, like random tidbits, what they've been doing on the side, outside of wrestling, whatever they're doing in training, or even just gossip. If you really want to get into that, it helps fill dead air. And it also gives audiences more insight into the wrestlers as human beings. And that's basically how I do my notes. Now, in between the matches, I also put in the segments of the show, just so that I know at any time where we are in the show. And I highlight the parts of the show where I need to be at attention. I'm going to be doing stuff. I also do the voiceovers for every segment. I would indicate it right there. Like, let's say, this one, I need to record a voiceover later on. I would just indicate there. Preparing these notes lets me be on top of things at any given moment. And it's very important for me for every single show to prepare my notes. Like, no exceptions. I cannot be lazy. And then there's another part of preparation that I'm sure not a lot of people would think is important, but is actually very, very, very important. Physical fitness. Yes, that's right. Commentators need to be physically fit. Why? Why would you need to be physically fit when all you do is just sit in front of the ring and talk? Well, let's put it this way. Commentary is basically communication. It's being able to talk for hours and hours on end without stopping. You're processing a lot of information all at once for a span of like 3-4 hours. Or in esports commentary, like even like 12 hours. Those guys are brutal. Oh, I have great admiration for esports commentary. More on that later. But yeah, commentary, you see what's going on with your eyes. You then process that information with your brain. You then also add more tidbits to it, more information based on knowledge, experience, and research. And then you speak that out as clearly and concisely as you can for the audience, right? Input, processing, output. What part of the body allows you to do that? The brain. It's not just your mouth, it's also the brain. And what supplies the brain? The heart. Your heart supplies blood to your brain in order for you to be able to do that. So therefore, strengthening the heart so that it's able to pump blood into your brain more efficiently, pardon the pun, that's a no-brainer. You want your brain to work as optimally as possible if you're a commentator. Therefore, yeah, cardio is important. Not only to be really good at commentary, but also to be able to maintain your stamina throughout the hours of a show. And the one thing that gave me immediate results in improving my commentary was regular physical exercise. Yes, I am serious. You can compare my commentary from way back in 2019, the very first action novella TV shows. I was lagging like an old Pentium computer.
This is not a pretty battle, Sonny.
Yeah. This is the kind of battle I like, though. I like commentating these. Classical Brian Leo sitting back. Yeah.
Fabio desperately trying to reach for the ropes.
And compare that to my commentary now in 2023, I am much better. I'm smoother. I feel better. I sound better, I think. Do I actually exercise? Yes, I do. Now, mind you, my diet isn't exactly the healthiest. I don't eat junk, but I don't skip on rice either. But trust me, I work out regularly. And my partner, Romeo Moran, former pro wrestler, he also puts time in the gym. Physical fitness is indeed important even for commentators. And another important part of your physical fitness is sleep. Sleep is super important. It's how your brain consolidates information. And if you're not well rested, it's going to come off of your voice. If you're fatigued, if you're even a little bit tired, the audience will hear it in your voice. And it's not only important to get sleep before the day of the show, but also the week leading up to it. But of course, on the eve of the show, maybe the nerves get to you. Maybe all the stress from preparing may get to you. So you may have some insomnia. Most other nights, I sleep like a baby. But sometimes before the show, it may be a little bit harder to sleep. One thing that I've found that makes it easier for me to be able to sleep the day before the show is to have everything prepared days before the show. Whatever I'm going to wear, what I'm going to bring, all of that has to be taken care of days before the show, just so that I am not rushing. With proper preparation, I don't need to stress out as much, and I'll be able to perform as best as I can on the day of the show itself. Alright, let's get into the gear. At first, we used hand mics on stands because that was what we could afford. Like the mics would then be plugged into an audio interface and then into whatever we're recording with, whether it's a recording device or a laptop. The plus of this is it's a lot cheaper, so it'll fit your budget. In Britain, you will see commentators actually use hand mics, a special type of hand mic called a lip mic. That's traditional for British sports commentary. However, I don't like using hand mics personally because I have to keep holding onto it, and that means I have one hand already occupied, and I really don't like holding a mic for hours at a time because my biceps starts cramping. I really don't like it, so I don't like holding onto it. So I use a stand, but putting it on a stand also has a problem because when you turn your head, your voice is not going directly into the mic, and audiences are going to hear that, of course. You hit the table, it picks up the bump, and the biggest part of it is the lack of monitoring, being able to hear yourself and your fellow commentators. Now, I could bring a headphone amp or a splitter, and we could plug in our earphones to it. Like these earphones, I'm into Chi-Fi IEMs, by the way. Well, throughout 2022, I didn't because I'm stupid. Yeah. But for 2023, I understood, that's not going to fly. That's no good. We gotta have headsets. We gotta be able to hear ourselves and each other. We gotta do this professionally. So, for 2023, we upgraded the actual headsets.
Well, hello.
Here's the gear. There it is, boys. The headsets. Audio-Technica BPHS1. It's discontinued, but hey, it's still very, very good. So I got these from Amazon. They're not available here in the Philippines, and I tried looking everywhere. Suppliers, Facebook Marketplace, Carousel, Shopee, Lazada, everywhere. I needed broadcast headsets, and I couldn't find them here, so I had to order them from Amazon. Now, why do I need broadcast headsets? Because they just have better audio quality, especially with their mics. Those mics are actually condenser mics, not just, puny pipsqueak mics that you'd find in gaming headsets. And make you sound like this, over Discord or over Xbox Live, whatever. That's not acceptable for commentary. I ordered these 3 from Amazon, and wow, it took just a week from the US to get to here in the Philippines because, Amazon. Jeff Bezos has Amazon delivery working with super villain efficiency. You can learn more about that from my video about the Manila Post Office fire. Yeah, you'd want to watch that. I talk about Amazon delivery and compared to other forms of international delivery. Anyway, headsets, most high-budget productions I've seen use either Sennheiser HMD 26 or the 27. And WWE live broadcasts tend to use the Sennheiser HMD 25. The 25 because they're on ear, not over ear, so you can pull them off. You know, you can throw them around. They're more robust than the 26 or 27, which is more expensive. Now, I would love to use Sennheiser HMDs, but they're like $500, $600 per pair. Damn. I needed something cheaper, so I chose the Audio-Technica BPHS1. On sale, they're $189 each pair. Still pretty expensive, but you know, it's a lot cheaper than like $500, $600. Now for audio interface, I chose the PodTrack P4. Designed for podcasts, but also good for commentary. For XLRs, for 3.5 outputs, each with their own volume knobs. Very, very useful. A full-sized audio interface, you know, with 4 XLR inputs, well, they're a little too big. I need something portable. And meanwhile, the Zoom H6, yeah, that would be more versatile. You could use that for full-on film production, like our director does. He uses a Zoom H6. However, there's one thing about the P4 that the Zoom H6 does not have. It has a USB-C instead of micro B. I hate micro B. I hate it. I need Type C, and I carry all of that equipment in a hard case. So everything, all of that, it totals to around 50,000 pesos. Yeah, it's quite the investment. You know, I like doing this commentary thing. I would invest in gear and in MWF itself because, you know, I'm the commissioner after all. I'm going to use this. It's 2 jacks. Always have spare batteries, spare cables. Aside from that, I also have a spare hand mic just in case. You never know. Alright, and now the laptop. Here it is. Always wanted a ThinkPad, and last year I finally got one. Secondhand, sure, but still a ThinkPad. So here's the digs. The headset's connected to the PodTrack P4 and right into the laptop. We're gonna get the HDMI feed soon. That way, that's the whole feed, and I just cropped it to what's going to be the camera feed. The picture's gonna come in soon. They're still setting up the cameras, but yeah, basically this is the setup. I use OBS, almighty OBS. And there's Ro. Hello. Hello. There's our ring announcer. I'm also ring announcing, but only for the main event, which takes a load off my back. I can concentrate on the commentary. All right, and we're done. We finished. Oh, this has been a rough show. As you can see, the weather is not doing us any favors. The weather and the darkness, but we'll manage. Don't worry. We've been through worse. Welcome to Philippine Pro Wrestling. This is how it is. Like everywhere in the world, when you're starting out in pro wrestling, oh, it's a challenge. I savor these moments because this is what proves us to be strong. We can do a show anywhere. That's how deep our belief is. We can do a show anywhere. We do a show in your backyard. We can even do a show in your bathroom, and we'll make it more entertaining than your soap operas. That's right. Anyway, right now I'm gonna have to pack up. Alright, there you go. Everything is a lot neater now. All my gear is in their rightful place. I just gotta jam them all into my bag over here. Well, except this one, of course. This won't fit. This is not a bag of holding. But everything else, they will fit. Don't worry. And yes, there it is. Everything has been put away. That's it. Time to go home. I can smell myself. But before I get changed and take a shower, I'm gonna finish this. But no, seriously, I came straight from the show just now, alright? Yeah, you see that? You see that stuff? Yeah, here's the gear. Yeah, I just came back. Okay, wait a minute. Let's get back to Night City. Yeah, there you go. Even though I just got home, I'm not going to sleep because I'm going to be staying awake for 6 to 8 hours. Not because I have to, but because I can't. I can't sleep right now. Blood is pumping. I'll be sleeping at 6 a.m. That's how it is for me after shows. So right now I'm going to be ingesting recordings and footage and gonna be editing them, gonna chop them up, and I'm going to release the webcam footage, the footage that I recorded from OBS, give it straight to the roster so that they can review their matches and their segments while it's still fresh in their heads. And then I'm going to make sure that the commentary track is good, and if it's not, I'm going to check the other 2 backup recordings just to make damn sure. And I'm also going to ingest and edit the post-match promos that you saw in the back. I'm going to edit them, clean them up, sync them, and then I'm going to deliver it maybe tomorrow or even later if I get really cranky. And I'm going to make sure that everything is sorted out for each and every single episode. That's how it goes. Now I'm gonna do that. Meanwhile, ugh. Man, it's over a month later. I may be wearing the same shirt, but I look a little different. That's because I procrastinated. It's now over a month later, and tomorrow, the day after this recording, is another show. We're gonna have a show in Mandala Park, MWF Action Novela TV, Gigil at Romansa. So I gotta push out this video now, otherwise, I'll just sit on it forever. Meanwhile, things have changed for Manila Wrestling Federation. We have a TV deal now with Rock Manila TV. Woohoo! With that said, that's only the beginning for our fight for relevance. So I gotta work even harder to be a good commentator. And that is all for now for this video on me as a pro wrestling commentator. I will be making more videos from now on because I have a lot more time on my hands right now. More content to come. Like this video and subscribe. Anyway, that is all for now. Till next time, stay Tor.